The hills just have this massive draw for me. It's where I go to find myself. You just get that sense of peace when you're there. It just changes your perspective, being on top of a hill looking out over huge landscapes. When you've had a day in the hills, it does something to you. You come back feeling different. Something inside has changed, and you've got that sense of peace and sense of perspective. You're able to deal with stresses and strains of day-to-day life and work much more when you've had that quality time in wild places. Yeah, I've been doing path work, I guess, about 12 years now. It must be one of the hardest jobs out there. Sometimes walking for an hour, hour and a half to get up to the work site, and then spend 8 hours a day digging in the ground, swinging sledgehammers and mattocks and spades all day. You can learn some of the basic principles from a book, but you learn over time working with others that have been doing it for years. It's very much a case of working as a team and learning from each other. It takes a couple of years to really get your head around the technical side of the work, and then you learn how to adapt those formal techniques into something a bit softer, more sympathetic to the landscape. A few folk, when they see you working on the hill, think you're engineering some path up into what was otherwise a wild area. But the work that's being done is a response to the path that was created by walkers in the first place. And every effort is made to make that work look as natural as possible. There's lots of cases where paths have become very wide and a bit of an eyesore on the landscape. When you look at paths such as Blaven on that higher section, you've got a path there that's 6 or 7 metres wide. It's in a half-metre deep gully, and that's purely the result of people walking up fragile ground that has a lot of water running down it. You get a blue sky day, it's the best job in the world. You have some incredible views. You just spend all day looking out over some of Scotland's best scenery. It's fantastic. Walkers tend to come up past you when the weather's good. That's why they're there. They see you working and say, "Oh, dream job you've got here." When it starts raining, everything that you touch is muddy. Kitted up in a full set of waterproofs, just getting absolutely soaked to the skin, working hard just to try and keep warm. Just miserably cold, fingers and toes hurting, gloves saturated and full of water, and you look at your watch and you've got another 4 or 5 hours to go. Matt used to have the spade test, and you hold a spade out by the handle at arm's length, and when it blows horizontally, you know it's time to go home. It's not about building paths, it's about protecting the environment. People don't like to see heavily built paths in the uplands, that's not why they go in there. So it's finding that balance between protecting the environment but not being too intrusive. One day in the bothy over a dram, sitting in front of the fire, chatting to a mate, Tom, and I kind of asked Tom, "Why'd you go to the hills?" He simply said, "Because it makes me a better person." The guy came up, walked past us, and he said, "This is great, guys. It's like you're on a path, but you don't realise you're on a path." And I was like, yes, this is what we're trying to achieve all this time. That's when the real satisfaction comes in, when you know you've done something which is helping protect the landscape, but doesn't stand out, blends in naturally, and just looks right.